Daredevil, one of the slickest fighters in comic books. He's able to slip, counter, and outmaneuver his opponents with ease. This is mostly due to his power, a radar sense that he has that works very similar to echolocation, like with bats and dolphins, that allows him to see his opponents despite being blind. But it got me thinking, powers aside, what real fighters remind me of Daredevil? Now, I thought about it, and I couldn't just pin it to one. Now, Daredevil is a master martial artist and even mastered weapon styles as well, but I'm thinking solely on hand-to-hand combat. And I couldn't just pin it to one fighter. I actually have two elite fighters in mind that remind me of Daredevil's fighting style. And they are Vasily Lomachenko, the boxer, and Lerdsila, the Muay Thai fighter. Now you might be thinking why I didn't pick a more versatile fighter like a mixed martial artist. The thing is, Daredevil's foundation is boxing. His ability to slip punches and counter just reminds me of Lomachenko. And since he does deal with kicks, I couldn't think of anyone more appropriate than Lerdsila and his insane style of Muay Thai with his elusiveness and counter-striking of his own. So in this video, you're going to see my breakdown of Daredevil's style and why I think these two elite fighters remind me of the man without fear. Daredevil never makes himself an easy target to hit. He's always moving, circling, avoiding. Not much different from Lomachenko when you put it into boxing terms. Lomachenko has arguably the best footwork in boxing of all time. He slips, he moves as if he's dancing. He actually does have a dancing background, so that does help his footwork. But he's able to maneuver, circle around his opponents, almost like he's a ghost. And then, if we're going to talk about impeccable footwork and movement, you've got to put Lerdsila in the conversation as well, at least in his respective sport of Muay Thai. If you ever seen him move, there's a reason they call him the eel. He literally dodges and slips out of the way and counters opponents, almost as if he has Daredevil's radar sense. So speaking of countering, Daredevil is probably the ultimate counterpuncher when it comes to comic book characters. He's able to slip, dodge, avoid all attacks with ease, but better yet, he'll hit them when they don't expect it. Not much unlike Lomachenko, who is able to dodge, slip, and counter in a tight space, tight pocket when he's fighting his opponents. And then you have Lerdsila, who's able to dodge kicks at this close range with ease, dodging head kicks and slipping, and then hitting right back with a strike of his own. Two elite fighters who have ultimate counterpunching abilities. Daredevil isn't just a skilled fighter, he's an athlete. His agility, his acrobatics, and body control are on another level. And that's another reason Lomachenko and Lerdsila fit the comparison so well. Lomachenko's training is just as unorthodox as Daredevil's fighting style. We have seen Lomachenko do handstand push-ups, often on his fists, and even jumping from that position. He uses tennis ball training to improve his reflexes. And as I mentioned before, he has a dance background. When he was young, his father took him out of boxing for a few years just to focus on Ukrainian dance, which helped improve his coordination and footwork. That's why his balance and reflexes are insane. And then we have Lerdsila, who moves so fluidly, it's like he's made of rubber. Now that I made that comparison, I probably could have compared Lerdsila to someone like Mr. Fantastic of the Fantastic Four or Luffy from One Piece. But I digress. Whether he's avoiding head kicks or catching kicks in midair, his control over his body is unheard of. Both these fighters embody the agility that makes Daredevil so effective. Daredevil doesn't slow down. He keeps the pressure on his opponents when he's fighting, much like Lomachenko in the ring. Lomachenko's high pressure volume striking breaks his opponents down both physically and mentally. But Lerdsila, on the other hand, is a master of conserving energy. He stays loose and fluid, even in the later rounds of a fight. When you combine those two styles together, of the pressure of Lomachenko and the energy conservation of Lerdsila, you got the perfect mixture of Daredevil's approach in his fighting style. So, if Daredevil were a real fighter, he'd have the counterpunching ability and the footwork of Vasily Lomachenko, combined with the evasiveness and the defense of Lerdsila. And on top of that, the combination of their agility and their balance mirror Daredevil's acrobatics. These two fighters show what happens when you combine intelligence and movement and use them as your ultimate weapons. So what do you guys think? Are Lerdsila and Lomachenko the closest to a real-life Daredevil in terms of hand-to-hand combat? Or do you have somebody else in mind? If you do, leave their name in the comment. So if you like this video, please don't forget to hit subscribe, hit the follow button, and I can produce more content just like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. So I came up with this drill inspired by Daredevil. Daredevil is a superhero who's blind, but he has powers. He has that ability to see people with his radar sense. What we can use that for to help our grappling game is rely on our what we call tactile sensitivity. So when you're grappling with someone and you're this close, you don't want to get distracted by other things. You want to be able to feel what your opponent's doing. So to enhance that, we're going to do this with our eyes closed. If you have some kind of blindfold, it would be better. But if I have my eyes closed, I should be able to sense what my opponent's doing without getting distracted of where he is or even footwork. I'm going to rely solely on my sense of touch, my tactile sensitivity. So if he decides to do anything, so go ahead, Gus, do anything, I'm going to react to that. So you do this reaction drill with your eyes closed. This will enhance your ability to feel what your opponent's going to do rather than try to see what they're going to do. This will focus on certain movements. You'll be able to sense what they're doing. So we'll do it again. We'll adopt a clinch. So we'll go in a grappling clinch here, eyes closed. So my opponent, I'm going to give myself a handicap. My opponent is going to keep their eyes open. So I'm here. He does what he wants. So do anything. So I just want to rely on feeling that motion. Okay, so start off with just light drills. You could do pummeling if you know how to pummel. But now you take it up a notch and we do the same thing, but this time when we clinch, I want him to do some kind of attack. So he does whatever. Notice I never lose contact, because once I'm here, I'm a little screwed. I don't want to do this. And you can mix it up. Anything that requires close quarter contact, you can be in a clinch. It could be a Muay Thai clinch. So if we're here, I'm working my Muay Thai clinch. I can be the one to be offensive. So I can work my clinch here, and I start trying to feel. So you try to defend this, try to remove my clinch. I try to find the opportunities, reach towards him with my eyes closed. If I'm able to do that and be effective, or at least close to effective with my eyes closed, once your eyes are open, you're aware of your surroundings, that should enhance your abilities to do that. So try this Daredevil inspired drill, blindfolded, work the clinch, improve your tactile sensitivity to react, and then try it out with your eyes open, and you should see some improvement in your close quarter grappling range.